So, good morning to one and all. Friends, today we are going to study the chapter Gaseous State. It is the third unit from the Physical Chemistry, paper number 2nd. So, in this chapter, we are going to study the points like kinetic theory of gases and postulates of kinetic molecular theory of gases, derivation of kinetic gas equation in ideal and non-ideal gases, then deviation of gases from ideal behavior and compressibility factor, which is denoted by letter Z, and derivation of van der Waals equation and units of van der Waals constants, and remaining points they will be covered in next video. So let us see the introductory part of this unit. So we know that every substance has certain physical properties, and the physical state of a substance is represented by its physical properties. These physical properties are related with each other, and the relationship is shown by a mathematical equation which is known as equation of state. So for ideal gas, the equation of state is P phi is equals to nRT, where P is the pressure, phi is the volume, n is the number of moles, R is constant, and T is temperature. Now the next point is kinetic molecular theory of gases. The scientists Maxwell and Boltzmann in 1859 developed a mathematical theory to explain the behavior of gases and gas laws. So this mathematical theory that is based on the fundamental concept that a gas is made up of large number of molecules in perpetual motion. Perpetual means that are in continuous motion. Hence this theory is known as kinetic molecular theory or kinetic theory of gases. Here the word kinetic means motion. Now let us see the postulates of kinetic theory of gases. So first postulate of kinetic theory of gases is the gas consists of extremely small discrete particles called molecules, and they are dispersed throughout the container. Now let us see the diagram. So this white circles that indicates the gas molecules which are extremely small, and these molecules are dispersed, means they are spread throughout the container, means in space in the container. The second postulate or assumption of the kinetic theory of gases is the actual volume of the molecules of the gas is negligible as compared to the total volume of the gas. So see here, so this indicates the actual volume of the gas molecules, and it is negligible as compared to the total volume of the gas, means total volume of the container. Now let us see the third assumption or postulate is the gas molecules are in constant random motion with high velocities. So it can be represented like this here. So these are the gas molecules, and they are in constant motion with high velocities, and they move in all possible directions. The next postulate is the gas molecules move in straight lines with uniform velocity, and they change their direction on collision with each other or with the walls of the container. It can be represented like this here. So here this indicates the molecular collision. So this molecule moves along this direction, and when it collides with the other molecule, its direction will be changed. Similarly, this is the molecule which strikes with the wall of the container, and its direction then changed. So molecules move in straight line and changes the direction on collision with molecules or with the wall of the container. The next postulate is the molecules of the given gas are identical and they have same mass. Means molecules of the given gas are identical in all respects like mass, volume, etc. Next assumption is the gas molecules can move freely independent of each other. It means the distance between the molecules are very large, and it is considered or assumed that the van der Waals attractive forces between the gaseous molecules are absent or they do not exist. That's why the gas molecules move freely independent of each other. Next assumption is all collisions are perfectly elastic. It means there is no loss of kinetic energy of molecule during collision. Next assumption is here the pressure of a gas is caused by heats. It means bombardments recorded by the gas molecules on the walls of the container. Its pressure of the gas is due to the number of hits or the number of bombardments of gas molecules with the walls of the container. The next assumption is here the average kinetic energy, that is shown by this formula half mv square, of the gas molecule is directly proportional to absolute temperature, which is nothing but Kelvin temperature. So these are the assumptions of kinetic theory of gases. Now our next point is here derivation of kinetic gas equation. So kinetic gas equation is nothing but here P into V is equal to 1 by 3 mn V square. So this is the kinetic gas equation, and this equation expresses or represents the PV, means pressure into volume of a gas, in terms of the number of molecules, that is nothing but N, molecular mass, this is the M, and molecular velocity, that is this V. So this equation represents or expresses the PV of a gas in terms of number of moles or number of molecules of the gas, then molecular mass and molecular velocity. So to derive this expression, let us see, or suppose here is a cubical vessel and gas is enclosed in this cubical vessel. The length of the each side of this cubical vessel is L centimeter. Now let's suppose here the L centimeter is nothing but the length of each side of the vessel. Small letter n, that indicates the total number of gas molecules in the vessel. Small m, that indicates the mass of gas molecules, and this small v, that indicates the average velocity of gas molecules. Now we know the gas molecules are in constant motion. Now when these molecules moves along this direction, which is parallel to x-axis, its velocity is considered as here positive, plus v, small v, and when it hits the face A of this cubical vessel, it will go back with the same velocity, so its velocity is represented by this negative sign. So to hit the same face again and again, the molecule has to travel how much distance? That is nothing but this L centimeter and again L centimeter, means twice L centimeter, that is the distance is to be covered by molecule to hit the same face again and again. Then how many molecules are hitting or moving along this particular side or parallel to x-axis? If there are n molecules in this cubical vessel, then n by 3 molecules are moving along this particular direction, or they hits the face A. So we should remember these things. Now let's see here from this, the velocity of the molecule before striking phase A of the cubical vessel, that is considered here plus V. The velocity of the molecule after striking phase A, that is minus V. So the momentum of the molecule before impact, that is nothing but the product of mass into velocity. So as the V is positive, so this is the plus m into V. And the momentum of the molecule after impact, that will be the product of mass into velocity, but here the sign is negative as the velocity is here in opposite direction. So the momentum of molecule after impact, that is equals to minus m into phi. So the change in momentum at each impact, that is nothing but the difference between these two, that is momentum of molecule before impact minus momentum of molecule after impact. So momentum of molecule before impact is here m into v minus into this momentum of molecule after impact, that is minus m into v. So this mv and here minus into minus, that becomes the plus. So this mv plus mv, that is equals to twice mv. Let us suppose this is equation number 1. Now we know to hit the same phase, to hit means to strike the same phase again and again, the molecule has to travel a distance which is equals to twice L centimeter. So the number of impacts per second by single molecule, that is given by this formula, that is velocity upon this particular distance. So this V upon twice L, this indicates the number of impacts per second by single molecule. Let's suppose this is the equation number 2. So we know here the change in momentum at each impact is twice mv. The number of impacts per second by single molecule is v upon twice L. And we also know the number of molecules hitting phase A, that is equals to n by 3. And the product of these three values, that is twice mv, v upon twice L and n by 3, that gives the total change in momentum per second at phase A. So this is nothing but the product of change in momentum at each impact into number of impacts per second by single molecule into total number of molecules hitting phase A. You know the value of change in momentum at each impact is twice m into v. Number of impacts per second by single molecule, it is v upon twice L, and total number of molecules hitting phase A, it is equal to n by 3. So we have these values, that is twice mv into v upon twice L into n by 3. So solving this, we have this 1 by 3, means here this 2 and this 2 gets cancelled. What is the remaining? That is 1 by 3 as it is. This m, n and this v into v, that is v square upon this L. So 1 by 3 m n v square by L. It is nothing but the total change in momentum per second at A. And this is nothing but called here force that acting on the phase A. So this equation 3, this represent the average force acting on phase A. Now here we know this particular value, that is the change in momentum, rate of change in momentum, it is nothing but the force. And we also know this equation 3 represents the average force acting on phase A. And we know this particular formula, that is pressure is equal to force upon area. So we have the value of force and we have to put up that value. This pressure P is equal to force is 1 by 3 mn v square by L upon this area is nothing but the area of the face A, that is the area of the face A is the square. So the area of square is nothing but the side square. So here is the L square is nothing but the area of face A. So here this indicates the L square is the area of face A. or this equation can be written like this: P is equal to 1 by 3 mn v square upon L cube, means this L square into L, that becomes the L cube, and L cube is nothing but the volume of the cubical vessel. So here we can represent this formula like P is equal to 1 by 3 mn v square upon this capital V. Though L cube, it is replaced by this capital V, and this capital V is nothing but the volume of the cube. So here it is shown L cube is equal to capital V, which is equal to volume of cube, or it is nothing but the volume of the gas. So the above formula can be rearranged like this. This V is taken to the left hand side of this equal sign. So we have this equation: P into V is equal to 1 by 3 into mn V square. This is suppose equation number 4, and this equation 4 is nothing but the fundamental equation of kinetic theory of gases, and it is known as equation of or kinetic equation of gases. But the m into n, small m into n, is equals to total mass of gas, which is represented by this letter capital M. Therefore we have this equation P into V is equal to 1 by 3. Instead of small mn, we have used here capital M into V square. So this above equation can be rearranged like this. Again here V is taken to the right hand side of this equal sign, so it can be written like this: P is equal to 1 by 3 this capital M upon V into this here small V square. But we know that this M is the total mass of gas, V is the volume, capital V is the volume, so mass upon volume, that is nothing but the density. So we can replace this by the symbols here capital D. So we have this equation P is equal to 1 by 3 capital D into this small v square. Small v, that is the velocity. So P is equal to 1 by 3 D into v square. This is the equation number 5, and it is nothing but the modified form of kinetic equation, and this equation is applicable to all vessels of any shape. Now our next point is here ideal gas. So which gas is said to be ideal gas? The gas which obeys Boyle's law and general gas equation PV is equals to nRT rigidly, means strictly, at all values of temperature and pressure. So such gas is called as ideal gas. But in actual practice, there is no any gas which obeys this Boyle's law and general gas equation at all values of temperature and pressure. So in true sense, there is no any gas which is ideal. Now here next point is real gases. Now which gases are said to be real gases? The gases which fails, means not obeys the ideal gas equation, that is the PV is equal to nRT, or ideal behavior at all values of pressure and temperature. So such gases are called as real gases or non-ideal gases. So the gases which fails to obey the ideal behavior, that is P into V is equal to nRT, are called real gases or non-ideal gases. So here are some examples given like hydrogen, helium, neon, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, methane, oxygen, etc. So these are the real gases or non-ideal gases. Now next point is deviation of real gases from ideal behavior. The deviation of real gases from ideal behavior is expressed in terms of new function called compressibility factor, which is denoted by the symbol Z, capital Z. And its formula is this one: Z is equal to PV by RT. For an ideal gas, the value of Z is 1 under all conditions of temperature and pressure. It means that it is independent of temperature and pressure. The deviations from ideality may be shown by a plot, means by plotting a graph between the Z, means compressibility factor, against pressure. So the deviations from ideal behavior of a real gas will be determined by the value of Z being greater or less than 1, and the difference between the unity means that is value 1, and the value of Z of a gas is measure of the degree of non-ideality of the gas. The deviation of real gases from ideal behavior depends on pressure and temperature. Now let's see the effect of pressure variations on deviations. Now here is the graph is plotted between the compressibility factor Z against pressure P, which is in atmospheric pressure, and there are some gases are shown here: nitrogen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and this dotted line, that is, or you can say that the plot which is parallel to x-axis, it is for the ideal gas. Now if we see this graphs carefully, the carbon dioxide curve, say here, the compressibility factor goes on decreasing with increase in pressure, attains minimum value, and then goes on increasing continuously. Similar is the case for nitrogen, but deviation is some low. With increase in pressure, the compressibility factor goes on decreasing, attains minimum value, and then goes on increasing with increase in pressure. But in case of hydrogen or helium, the compressibility factor value, that is Z, continuously goes on increasing with increase in pressure. So this curve always lies above the ideal curve. So we have to interpret these equations later on. So with increase in pressure, hydrogen shows continuous increase in Z, means Z compressibility factor, and this curve lies above the ideal gas curve at all values of pressure. For nitrogen and carbon dioxide, the Z value, that is compressibility factor, first decreases means here Z is less than 1, and it passes through a minimum and then increases continuously with pressure. So here is the Z is greater than 1. So gas becomes now less compressible than an ideal gas. For carbon dioxide gas, the dip in the curve is greatest because it is most easily liquefied gas. So the gas which deviates more, that gas is found to be more easily liquefied. Now let us see the effect of temperature on variations on deviations. Effect of temperature variations on deviations. The Z against P is compressibility factor against pressure plots for nitrogen gas at different temperatures are looks like this one. So this is the graph of, say here, nitrogen, which is plotted between the compressibility factor Z against pressure at various temperatures. Initially at 200 Kelvin temperature. Now see this particular graph, this compressibility factor Z goes on decreasing, attains minimum value with increase in pressure, and then goes on increasing continuously. As the temperature is raised from 200 Kelvin to 500 Kelvin, again here the compressibility factor that goes on decreasing attains minimum value and then goes on increasing continuously, but its dip in the curve, it is somewhat less as compared to at 200 Kelvin temperature. and when the temperature is raised at 1000 Kelvin, then the compressibility factor that continuously goes on increasing with increase in pressure. So this curve at 1000 Kelvin is above the ideal curve. So from this we can conclude that the at low pressures and fairly high temperatures, real gases show nearly ideal behavior and the ideal gas equation is obeyed. So real gases behave ideally at very low pressures and at fairly high temperatures. Second conclusion is that at low temperatures and sufficiently high pressures, real gases deviates significantly from ideality or ideal behavior, and the ideal gas equation is no longer valid. This is our second conclusion from the above curves or graphs. And our next conclusion is, closer the gas to its liquefaction point, the longer will be deviation from the ideal behavior. Means when the gas is close to its liquefaction point, then it shows more deviation from the ideal behavior. So these are the three important conclusions from the above diagrams. Now our next important point is van der Waals equation of state. So the van der Waals equation of state is nothing but an equation showing the relation between all variables at the given state is called as equation of state. And the variables are here pressure, volume, temperature and number of molecules. These are the four variables which defines the gaseous state of a substance. So this equation P into V equals to nRT is an equation of state. But this equation is not obeyed by real gases for all values of pressure, volume and temperature. Therefore, some new parameters should be taken into account to explain the behavior of real gases. So according to van der Waals, the postulates or assumptions of kinetic theory have some errors, and these are the two postulates which have errors. First postulate, it is nothing but the volume of the gas molecule is negligible in comparison with volume occupied by them. So this postulate is faulty. So we have to make some corrections. So according to van der Waals, the gas molecules or volume of gas molecule is not negligible. So that is the considerable volume as compared to volume of the gas occupied. And the second assumption of kinetic theory of gases, that is nothing but no intermolecular forces of attractions are present in the gaseous state. So this assumption is also faulty or it has also some error. So according to van der Waals, there are intermolecular forces of attraction. They are present in the gaseous state. So we have to make the correction in volume and in pressure. Therefore, the ideal gas equation PV equals to nRT derived from kinetic theory could not hold good for real gases. So J.D. van der Waals in 1873 proposed his famous equation of state for real gases. All real gases obey this equation of state at all values of pressure and temperature. The two correction terms introduced by van der Waals are shown here. First is the volume correction. Kinetic theory of gases assumed that molecules of gas are point masses and hence they possess negligible volume. But in reality, according to van der Waals, the gas molecules are not point masses and they possesses finite volume. Therefore, the volume of gas will be less than the volume of the container. Therefore, the volume of real gas is equals to volume of ideal gas or ideal volume minus excluded volume occupied by gas molecule. So to derive this, let's suppose small b is the excluded volume of 1 mole of gas. Actually, this excluded volume is 4 times the actual volume of gas molecules, and therefore for 1 mole of gas, the volume of ideal gas equation is corrected as V corrected is equal to this V minus B. This small b that indicates the excluded volume, we have to subtract it from this V so that we get this corrected volume. And let's suppose for n moles of gas, the above equation can be corrected as V corrected is equals to V minus n into B. Let's suppose this is equation number 1, where small b, this indicates the van der Waals constant and it is characteristic for each gas, and it can be calculated by using this equation. B is equal to 4n into 4 by 3 pi r cube, where capital N indicates the Avogadro's number. Now second correction term, that is the pressure correction. So correction due to intermolecular forces of attraction. Here the ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT is derived on the assumption that there are no intermolecular forces of attraction, but according to van der Waals, there is the attractive forces between the gas molecules, and therefore we can say that here the molecule which is on the way of, say, here heating the wall of the container, that will be attracted by the molecules which are behind it. So this molecule hits this wall of the container with reduced velocity. So we can say that here the actual pressure of the real gas will be less than the ideal pressure. Hence, it is necessary to add certain quantity of pressure of the gas in order to get the ideal pressure. So P corrected or P ideal, that will be equals to capital P plus small p. Small p, that is we have to add to get the ideal pressure. So this can be shown like this here. Suppose there are the A type of molecules and some B type of molecules. A type of molecules means which are on the way of heating the wall of the container, and these are the B type of molecules, means these molecules pulls this A molecule in backward direction so that its velocity is reduced to hit the wall of the container. It means here, let's suppose the molecule A striking the wall of the container and the molecule B pulls the molecule A inward. The net force of attraction is proportional to the concentration of A type of molecules and concentration of B type of molecules. Therefore, we can represent this as the small p, that is the pressure which is to be added. It is proportional to the concentration of A type of molecules into concentration of B type of molecules. So the concentration of A type of molecule, it can be shown here N by V. Similarly here concentration of B type molecule, that is also N by V, means number of molecules in the same volume, number of molecules in the same volume here. So P is directly proportional to N by V into N by V, means this P is directly proportional to the product of concentration of A type of molecules and the concentration of B type of molecules. Solve this So we have this p is directly proportional to n square by v square. This n into n means n square and v into v means v square. Now remove the proportionality sign by constant a. So we have this small p is equals to a into n square by v square. This is the equation number 3. So here small n that indicates the total number of gas molecules in volume V. Small a indicates the proportionality constant. So we have these two corrected terms, volume corrected as V is equal to V minus NB and P corrected as P is equal to A n square by V square. So we have to put up these values in the equation. This P corrected, we have to put up here the value of P in this equation second. So we have this equation P corrected is equal to P plus A n square by V square. Okay, but here we have to put up these values in this particular equation, means corrected value of pressure and corrected value of volume in this ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. So by putting the corrected values of volume and pressure from equation 1 and 4 in the ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT, we have this P as here. Instead of P we have to write down this particular P plus A n square by V square into, instead of V we have to write down the corrected volume, that is V minus NB equals to this nRT as it is. This is the equation number 5, and this equation is nothing but van der Waals equation for n moles of a gas. This van der Waals equation for 1 mole of gas, that will be written like this. Here we have to replace this n term, remove it. So we have this P plus A by V square, because n square is replaced here, square of 1 is here 1, so A by V square into V minus B, as the value of n is here 1, and equals to nRT, but the value of n is 1, so it is equal to RT. So the van der Waals equation for 1 mole of gas is P plus A by V square into V minus B equals to RT. Suppose this is equation number 6. Here the A and B, these letters small a and B, are van der Waals constants, and their units are here. A is expressed in atmosphere liter square per mole square, whereas the B is expressed in liter per mole. So these are the units of van der Waals constants A and B. Now we have to interpret the deviations of, say, real gases from van der Waals equation, or interpretation of deviation from van der Waals equation. So for 1 mole of gas, the van der Waals equation is here, we know that is P plus A by V square into V minus B equals to RT. So this is equation number 1, and by solving this equation, this P into V, that is PV plus P into this PV, and this A by V square into V, that is equals to A by V minus this P into B, that is PB, and this minus AB by V square, this A into B upon this V square equals to RT. Or this equation can be rearranged like this: PV is equals to, remaining terms are taken to the right hand side, so we have this RT plus this PB, this minus this as this plus, when this term goes to the right hand side of equal sign it becomes negative, so it is A by V, and this is negative term becomes positive here, plus AB by V square. This is equation number 2, and this equation is very important in order to interpret the deviation from real van der Waals equations. So with the help of this equation, we can proceed to interpret the deviation of real gases from ideal behavior as shown in this figure. Now let's see these figures carefully. We have already studied these plots, that is Z versus P for various gases, and this plot that indicates the Z versus P plots for nitrogen at different temperatures. Now see carefully the curve of this nitrogen and carbon dioxide, that lies below the ideal curve, whereas this plot for the hydrogen gas, it lies above the ideal curve. So we can interpret this with the help of this equation number second, that is PV is equals to RT plus PB minus A by V plus AB by V square. So this equation 2 is very important. So let us see here. At low pressures, means when the pressure is low, then you know the relationship between pressure and volume, they are inversely proportional to each other. Means when pressure is small, volume will be large. Here it is shown here, P is inversely proportional to volume. And when the volume is very large, then these two terms Pb and Ab by V square, means this Pb and this Ab by V square, these two terms are negligible as compared to this A by V, and therefore by neglecting these two terms Pb and Ab by V square from equation 2, we have this PV equals to this RT as it is minus A by V. We have neglecting this Pb and Ab by V square. At low pressures, volume is very large, and therefore rearrange this equation. So divide on both sides by RT. So we have this equation PV by RT is equal to 1 minus A by V into RT. But we know that PV by RT is nothing but the compressibility factor Z. PV by RT is the compressibility factor, and this compressibility factor Z is equals to this 1 as it is minus A upon VRT. So this equation, this indicates or explains the initial promotions of Z versus P curves of nitrogen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, which lie below the ideal curve. Means here this Z is less than 1. Now here second case is at high pressures, means when pressure is high, then what will be about the volume? It will be very small, as pressure and volume are inversely proportional to each other. And when volume is small, then these two terms A by V and AB by V square from this equation 2, A by V and AB by V, means this last two terms, they are negligible as compared to this PB, and therefore these two terms are neglected. So by neglecting these two terms from equation 2, we have PV is equal to RT plus PB. Now divide on both sides by RT. So we have this PV by RT equals to 1 plus PB by RT. But we know that PV by RT is equal to Z, or compressibility factor. So replace this PV by RT as Z. So we have this equation Z is equal to 1 plus PB by RT. So this equation expresses or states that at high pressures the value of Z is greater than 1, and therefore Z versus P curves lie above the ideal curve, as the value of Z is greater than 1, and therefore these curves of the gases, or at high pressures the curves of the gases lies above the ideal gas curve. Now third case is at extremely low pressures. Means when pressure is extremely low, then volume becomes very large, as the pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So in such a case, these three terms, that is PB A by V and AB by V square, all these three terms are negligible as compared to RT. And therefore by ignoring or by neglecting these three terms from equation number 2, we have this equation PV is equal to RT, or this equation can be written like this: by dividing on both sides by RT, we have this PV by RT equals to 1. But we know that PV by RT is nothing but the compressibility factor Z. So replace this PV by RT by Z. So this Z equals to 1. So this states that here at extremely low pressure, real gases behave ideally. Means real gases behave ideally at which condition? At extremely low pressures. Now here the last type here, at high temperatures. When the temperature is high, then volume also large. Similar is the case which is for the extremely low pressures. Means at high pressure volume will be large. So here we know V is directly proportional to temperature, means with increasing temperature the volume increases, and therefore the pressure will be very small, and therefore these three terms PB AB by V and AB by V square, these three terms, they are negligible as compared to RT. Though therefore by ignoring or by neglecting these three terms from equation 2, we have this equation PV is equal to RT. Divide on both sides by this RT, we have this PV by RT equals to 1. But we know that PV by RT is equal to Z, which is compressibility factor. So put up this Z at the place of PV by RT. So we have this equation Z is equal to PV by Z is equal to PV by RT is equal to Z, or which is equal to 1. It means here at high temperature real gases behave ideally. Means at two conditions, that is at extremely low pressures and at high temperatures, real gases behave ideally. So these are the interpretations. Now here are some exceptional cases, or we can say that anomalous behavior of hydrogen and helium, because here the masses of hydrogen and helium are very small, and due to these small masses the attractions between these gaseous molecules are negligible, and therefore the term A is extremely small, and at such conditions these terms A by V and AB by V square, they are negligible. So we can ignore this from this equation number 2. So by ignoring these two terms, last two terms A by V and AB by V square, we have this equation PV is equal to RT plus PB. But this equation can be rearranged, or we can say that by dividing this RT on both sides, we have this equation like this: PV by RT equals to 1 plus PB by RT. But we know that PV by RT is equal to Z, which is compressibility factor. So we can replace this PV by RT by this Z. So this PV by RT is replaced by this Z. So we have this equation Z is equal to 1 plus PB by RT. So at such condition, the Z or compressibility factor Z has value greater than 1, and therefore Z versus P curves of hydrogen and helium lie above the ideal gas curve continuously. So this is nothing but the anomalous behavior of hydrogen and helium. Is there is no decrease of the compressibility factor with increase in pressure. The compressibility factor's head continuously goes on increasing with increase in pressure, and it is due to the small masses of the hydrogen and helium gases. So in today's lecture we have studied the kinetic molecular theory of gases. Here we have studied the postulates of kinetic theory of gases. We have derived kinetic gas equation, and also we have studied ideal and non-ideal gases. Here we have also studied deviation of gases from ideal behavior and compressibility factor. We have derived van der Waals equation. We have also studied the units of van der Waals constant, and finally we have studied the interpretation of deviation from van der Waals equation, or the interpretation of the deviation of real gases from ideal behavior. So in this way we have completed two important points, 3.1 and 3.2, from this unit, that is gaseous state. So thank you for watching the complete video. Stay home and stay safe. The remaining part of this topic that will be covered in next video. So thank you once again.